In the modern age of memes, there's nothing more iconic than the Dwayne the Woke Johnson as a work of AI. These facial image synthesis and editing can now be easily done as there are endless ways to tackle the topic of face generation. But how AI image editing works is probably slightly different than what you guys think. If you are new to the channel, you would probably imagine AI image editing to be like how Photoshop artists perform photoshopping on faces, but it's an AI doing the process instead, and you would be big wrong. AI image editing seems really intuitive because of how easy it is to make changes to a face, but with this huge upside, of course there is going to be a huge downside to this solution, and its huge flaw belongs in the pre-processing step, right before when you get to edit the image. That is, if people aren't really happy, you can't make them smile, and a lot of times that is because they don't have good habits. Habit changing and habit building are hard, and today's sponsor Fabulous makes it easy for anyone to develop and stick to healthy habits. Like, I'm a very lazy person, and Fabulous habit tracking helps me to set my morning routine, so I'll forcefully to do my workout right before I start to slouch hard in front of my computer. And after doing all these, I genuinely feel less guilty and can focus on my tasks of the day. And not to forget the happiness I get, the personalized journeys give me a place to journal all my favorite moments of the day, like sitting in front of my computer and eating dinner in front of my computer. With Fabulous, you can also discover new challenges that interest you to take on this year, so get ready to conquer your dreams. The first 100 people who click the link in the description will get 25% off their yearly premium subscription to Fabulous. Okay, sponsor aside, to make the pre-processing problem more understandable, it's like sculpturing a Play-Doh to look like someone's face. The sculptor would be the AI, and the better the AI is, the better the result of the sculpturing would be. Then after the sculpturing part is done, the AI would then proceed to edit by stretching or adjusting the Play-Doh, and that would be how an actual AI performs facial image editing. And to put it into nerdy terms, the first part would be finding the closest representation of the real face in the latent space within the trained AI model. After finding the closest representation, by moving around the right parameters in the latent space, you can obtain effects on facial features such as having more beard or less beard. Since the current level of AI cannot find an exact same facial representation inside the latent space, there would definitely be flaws like the latent representation doesn't look exactly the same as the original image. But what if you just need to edit a single feature? Like you just want a bigger smile on your face. It would not be accurate and efficient to find a latent representation of a face that has a high probability of not looking the same, right? Well, let me introduce you today to Chunkmogrify. They propose a solution that by customizing a selected area to single out a feature, it'll be easier for the AI to find a similar feature in contrast to finding an entire identical face in the latent space with multiple unique features. So by using this projection step after drawing a mask, it will run a pre-existing face model to try to match that feature you've just selected to the mask section of the original image you've just drawn. Then you can see the progression of the AI trying to match that single area, and in this case it's called the projection step. The more steps there are, the longer the AI would try to find the optimal image that matches the selected area in its latent space. Once that part is done, you can then perform the actual image editing process. By specifying a feature and adjusting its parameter, the AI synthesized image would be edited and masked on top of the original image you have. And by going into the blended view, you can see how the original image and the AI synthesized masked image would look like when it's blended together. And these edits just look really clean. The effort you need to go through with these compared to doing it in Photoshop is literally incomprehensible. And so yet again, we are blessed upon by the open sourced researchers with their amazing implementations. This program combined research such as style space analysis, style clip editing, PTI optimization, StyleGAN 2, Poisson image editing, and many more. It has created the possibility of creating infinite moist critical variants as much as you need, and opened a new and free solution to the general public to study and learn from. If you want to play with this AI, I'll link my installation tutorial down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. A big shout out to Andrew, Panther Modern, and many others that support me through Patreon or YouTube. If you have any questions, feel free to join my Discord and ask there too. Follow my Twitter if you haven't, and I'll see you all in the next one.